YouTube. Thought I'd jump on here, give you an update, let you know what's going on the old Esquimalt Nanaimo Railway. So things have not changed too much down here at Wilcox, other than getting some oddball cars here and there that I'm going to use for FMC reload at Parksville. They'll do. They're not exact, but they'll work. Anyways, so what's new? Well, got track laid to Parksville, down yonder. And yeah, not as much space as I wanted between Parksville and Nanaimo, but that's okay. I didn't fit National Silicates, and I didn't fit the the spur for reloading fertilizer in, but I did get the station tracks built at Parksville, so the station's going to go somewhere down here. And of course it's condensed, so not quite like the real deal, but close enough. So there's a junction for the Victoria and Port subs, so that goes to Courtney. So that's a siding. FMC, for those of you who know, will be there. There's a layout of the prototype. So my my line here a little bit different than the prototype, where the prototype kind of went straight to go to the port sub and then kind of curved off to go on the Victoria sub to Courtney. Mine curves for the Port Alberni sub, so that's the ramp track, and then that is the siding into port, going into the port sub. So the helix here, that's the entrance into the helix, which will pop out at Cameron Lake right there with the siding, and then of course onwards to Port Alberni. So the Victoria sub here, Courtney, next stop after Parksville here. The tracks duck in behind the helix and we'll pop out over here. I got to figure out some sort of a scenery break between the port sub and the Victoria sub, because they were never that close to each other, but that's how I had to make it work here. The train station, Qualicum Beach, will be somewhere in this area, and so that's kind of close to the next spot I'm going to be working at. There's the an extra, ballast extra when they're doing the ties back in the late 80s, 5019, got to ride on that one back in the day, which was pretty cool. And yeah, anyways, so that is the sub, and then of course on to little Qualicum River trestle right here. So kind of maybe this weekend I'll be working on laying some more kind of sub road bed along that way. I did have to strengthen up the upper level. Of course, it was quite wobbly. If you kind of been following along Facebook, and can't remember if I did a video on it or not, but I had to strengthen it up to make it a little bit wider, so give the Port Alberni here a lot more stability. There's a great looking Courtney turn with 3 units. I think the middle unit there is probably 5008, which used to hang around here quite a bit. Yeah, 3 units, so they probably had that set up for the port turn, did the Courtney turn with the 3 units, and there was probably no other power available in the yard. But yeah, anyways, so that's kind of new. Not a whole lot, been kind of just tinkering around. Gonna start dropping feeders here, I don't know, in the next few days, just to kind of get this section of track up and running and work out any of the bugs for switching, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. Yeah, a few people have been asking about the board I've been using. It is the American, it's called it Homosote, we call it Donnacona. I've been getting it from Central Builder Supply locally here. And yeah, the product's great, because if you want to carve in a ditch, you can carve in a ditch into it. It holds track nails, like that's just track nail down. So it holds quite well. You do have to paint it. You have to make sure it's painted, because it is quite flaky. There's kind of a section of it, what it looks like before. It's just like a fiber type board. It'll soak up a couple 3 coats of paint, but once it's got some paint on there, it's actually quite a good product to use. So not so bad. Can't really complain. Anyways, yeah, so that's kind of all that's been going on in here. Like I said, I'm gonna start dropping feeders. Got some feeders ready. Gonna drill some holes. I gotta probably narrow this up for the road bed, and yeah, trying to start getting that sort of stuff ready. Other than that, that's about it, guys. Not too exciting. Sure happy with these though, right? That cool. Anyways, yeah, there you go. Not too much of an update, but I thought I'd jump on here. It's been a couple weeks, so yeah, I'm kind of working on client work right now. So kind of jumping between here and doing client work and yeah, having fun. All right, guys, take care.